What's up guys, it is Dan and Nick back with another episode of F1 2021 Co-op Career Mode Season 3 in the Red Bull and the McLaren. We're in Portimao today for the Portuguese Grand Prix, a track that we've not added to the calendar so far, even though it has been out for a little while. If you haven't given it a try yet, I'm not sure who hasn't, then go and have a look. Go and have a look at it. Then go and have a try. It's good fun, and as you'll see, this turns into quite a chaotic race. And in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell and like the video as we get onto the starting grid for the first Portuguese Grand Prix in this channel's history. And on the front row is both the Red Bulls of Lando Norris and Radiant Slothz with a career best start to a Grand Prix. P2. Probably not made it out of the top 10 before. Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton followed by Guan Yu Zhou and Justin Freshpot in the McLaren. Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen, Yuki Tsunoda and Esteban Ocon round up the top 10. Then it's Nicholas Latifi, Lance Stroll, Valtteri Bottas and George Russell. Robert Schwartzman, Antonio Giovinazzi, Christian Lundgaard, Pierre Gasly, and on the final row it's Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. Now, without further ado, let's get underway.
The Portuguese Grand Prix making its debut with an incredible front row for Radiant Slothz, his first ever, I believe.
It's incredible that he's actually managed to see the front of the grid for the first time in his career, and he
Lando
gets away
Norris
well.
has left him behind, it has to be said.
I have eaten my words from the last video.
Justin Freshpot with a massive track extend in the background.
Lando Norris already pulled 3/4 of a second on Radiant Slothz, who's holding up the rest of the field on the medium tyres.
Radiant Slothz has already dropped out of DRS as the Mercedes looks to get past but can't.
What's his name, Nick? You gotta let us know who he
And
is.
another track extend from Radiant Slothz there, incredible really.
Sported a
And he's
new
getting
helmet
away
for
with
this Grand
He's
Prix.
now 1.9 seconds behind Lando Norris. There's Justin Freshpot here, looking for an incident-free race, coming through the final corner.
Under pressure from Lewis Hamilton coming round the final corner. He's also sporting a new helmet this weekend. And a godly track extend.
That is the racing line.
Breaking records of gigantic proportions. Lewis Hamilton to the outside.
Squeezes out Lewis Hamilton.
Justin Freshpot over the curb. He spins the car.
He's not taking the racing line. Lewis Hamilton has always crashed into him. The Alpine.
Oh, we've got pieces of car everywhere.
Has rear-ended him.
Contact.
There's been a huge collision. Robert Schwartzman gets through. There's a front wing on the side of the track. There's a huge pile up behind.
What is going on? We've lost 5 cars from that one incident. 2 DNFs, 3 disqualifications as we're at the restart.
You have to say those disqualifications were deserved as Radiant Slothz looks to get past Lando Norris and probably hold him up even though he's much faster.
And
he's looking down the inside here.
Radiant Slothz
into turn 1.
On the brakes, up the inside of Lando Norris.
His teammate and track
wide.
Extends.
Lando Norris wondering what the hell he's playing at, who this teammate is, as he now looks to hold him up even further. And not Lewis Hamilton. Oh no, we're on board with Justin Freshpot. What's happened here? Going into turn 1. Has he had another crash?
For a dive bomb.
He's hit a Ferrari.
A slight bit of contact.
And here we go, Justin
Coming now into
Freshpot.
turn 1 again. He's massively hit the car and he's spun again.
All wrong again.
He's spun again.
He's Tsunoda.
Ferrari.
There's a huge going everywhere.
There's 2 cars facing each other.
Unbelievable.
Is that going to be another safety car? That's a time penalty for Justin Freshpot. You have to say that's undeserved.
Multiple collision scores. We're now down to 13 cars left in the session. Multiple casualties. This was Lando Norris getting past Radiant Slothz illegally under the safety car, and then Radiant Slothz having to give up the position because Codemasters can't make a game properly. There he goes, letting him pass.
Almost loses a position to the Mercedes as well somehow. Robert Schwartzman, an incredible 7th. What a driver.
Box.
There we go, Justin Freshpot coming in under the safety car. He's coming in hot. He's coming in very hot. He smacks into Max Verstappen at the pit entry.
He's saying, that's my bleeding car.
He's like, I don't like that, Williams. I've driven it. And Max is saying, well, I quite like it, actually. Justin Freshpot serves his penalty.
Here being served.
Will he...
Dropping him to almost last. Nicholas Latifi somehow 13 seconds behind the rest of the grid. as the McLaren flies out of its pit box.
Nicholas Latifi wasn't facing the wrong way after the incident. You've got to wonder what he's doing all the way back there. Max Verstappen must have served the penalty as well.
Somehow Justin Freshpot gets the jump on the Williams.
Unbelievable. What was Max Verstappen's penalty for? Or was it just that slow of a pit stop? Who knows?
Radiant Slothz with a massive gap to the safety car here, defending from Peter Gasly and Lando Norris.
And he's got to get the breakaway quick. Lando, of course, has pitted. Radiant Slothz is not. We cut to Justin Freshpot.
Justin Freshpot going into turn 1, clearly his favourite corner.
Is he going to try and kill the rest of the field? He's hit another car. He's run wide.
Not a track extend.
Yuki Tsunoda.
He's looking around the outside of the Ferrari. Scared. There's not much room.
He's going around Lewis Hamilton as well. He's going to hit him too. They touch. He forces him wide.
Incredible driving here from the McLaren driver, trying to impress his new bosses at McLaren.
Yuki Tsunoda having none of it.
Much higher ambitions than Williams had.
And he manages to keep a position. I think there's an end plate missing off of Antonio Giovinazzi. And it's Justin
Freshpot out. Almost rear ends Lewis Hamilton.
Around the outside.
Throws it around the outside.
How did he not touch there? That was incredibly close.
Now on the back of his teammate, Robert Schwartzman, although he team orders a weird line through that corner.
That is a very weird line. It's no wonder he ran wide. Lewis Hamilton, clearly angered by this, has gone up to the inside. A dangerous place to go against Justin Freshpot, especially in a car with that straight line speed. He cuts him up, somehow makes the corner for the first time. Robert Schwartzman watching all this in his mirrors, thinking, why am I partnered with this man? And now he goes
slightly wide
again
from the McLaren. As Lewis Hamilton almost crashes into him for no reason. Coming up to the left-hander now. Lewis Hamilton drop down onto the main straight. Will Hamilton make another move?
Radiant Slothz comes in. He is going to lose a lot of positions here.
It will need to be a very fast pit stop, as he is only about 11 seconds ahead of last place.
Here comes Norris.
This might not be successful. He's lost 1 position, 2, 3, 5. We're now on board with Justin Freshpot. He overtakes Radiant Slothz.
Lewis Hamilton once again looking to the inside. Max Verstappen just behind them in the Williams, unbelievably.
Justin Freshpot can't hold it around the outside. He maybe track extends a little bit there.
He's going to look to the
Looks
inside.
Looks at the inside.
Thinks better of it.
Almost guaranteed points in this race with only 13 drivers, so Justin Freshpot really doesn't need to take any risks. He's gaining on Lewis Hamilton as Radiant Slothz rejoins 18 seconds ahead of Yuki Tsunoda somehow.
And in last place nearly. Lewis Hamilton back on form as well in P7, so not winning again.
Taking his weird line and almost track extend again.
This time it's Max
He now
Verstappen.
defends from Verstappen.
Now this would be embarrassing to be overtaken by a man in his old team, and it's happened. Oh, he cuts him up brutally
flies around the outside.
I don't think Verstappen will be as forgiving as Hamilton after that kind of manoeuvre.
Justin Freshpot loves that move around the outside, but it has caused him to spin twice, so you have to question why he's continuing to do it. As Radiant Slothz now behind Giovinazzi in an incredibly slow Aston Martin.
That Aston Martin's already lost so much time. I mean, look at this. He's hanging it around the outside. He's still quicker. Nearly rear ends him of how slow he's going. DRS open, easily passed. Now it's
will Radiant Slothz crash?
Nicholas Latifi's up next, his least favourite driver. In fact, also Justin Freshpot's the least favourite driver as well. He crashes into them multiple times during the seasons. And we'll get to see the revenge. Oh my god, it really goes at the back of him.
Rear-ending Latifi. And an aggravated attack against Canadians. Again.
Two cars which
Much
should be the same. On different tyres. No, they're on the same tyres, of course. Sticks with him. Around the final corner. Closing speed. DRS just open. And he
up to 40 miles an hour in that Red Bull.
And he goes past
into turn 1.
Into the points, which is already a better result than all of Season 2 for Radiant Slothz. And this is on board with Justin Freshpot just a few minutes ago. Oh,
and he's come very close. That could be damage. A massive track extend.
And here we go. Once again, Max Verstappen, much tighter line on the soft tyres. He's going to get DRS in the Williams.
That McLaren giving it all she's got. to 400 miles an hour now into turn 1, and Max Verstappen just calmly sits behind.
Justin Freshwater can confirm there is not another lever to make him go twice as fast. He is stuck with the Williams right behind him. And through this twisty section, Max Verstappen is going to have an advantage. He goes to the outside. Oh, he's getting twitchy. Goes round. Justin Freshwater's not going to give him any space. He closes the door. Max Verstappen.
Great defending from Justin Freshwater. It doesn't look like he has damage, but he's 3 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton now.
Verstappen gives it another go. They've hit each other. Justin Freshwater crashes into the Williams for no reason at all. Max Verstappen still alongside him.
Max Verstappen should be trying to go around the outside.
Max Verstappen, he's going to give it another go. He's hit the McLaren for no reason.
Into the McLaren.
It's cost
the
him.
McLaren's going back up the inside. There's more contact.
They've hit each other again. This is completely unnecessary.
Both of these drivers guaranteed points if they just stop crashing into each other.
Radiant Slothz is now catching up as well. That will be completely embarrassing for both of them. Max Verstappen hits the McLaren again, going up the inside.
Both losing time now down the back straight. Radiant Slothz gaining on them both massively.
Oh, he goes
One
wide.
of them will get DRS, a massive track extend.
And here we go, on board. Onto the final lap. It's going to be free fighting for 8th place. Justin Freshwater track extends up the inside.
Not on the track.
Max Verstappen around the outside.
Max Verstappen goes around the outside.
What is he doing? Justin Freshwater just holding everyone up. And there's contact between the former teammates.
Radiant Slothz turns in, hits the McLaren, spins him out, puts him out of the points. Disappointed there from Radiant Slothz not to give any room. Disgusting, really, from the Red Bull driver.
This was on board. Let's see what was going on here. So Justin
the damaged McLaren, you can see that missing piece of the wing on the left there.
That's the middle.
Look, he turns in as much as he can, and Radiant Slothz just turns in on him.
Looked to me like he opened the steering up a little bit there. We go
Looked to me
with
like
Radiant Slothz.
Justin Freshwater had damage and wouldn't be able to make the corner, so Radiant Slothz should have given him more room, but
very similar to the incident.
Driving from the Red Bull.
Very similar to the USA last year. That incident. Same sort of situation. Radiant Slothz now being chased by Max Verstappen, who is on one today, and he spins Radiant Slothz around without even touching him.
He gets in the way of Max Verstappen, drives onto the grass for some reason, drops out of the points himself now.
And there's the
As we see Justin Freshwater fly past the 2 stopped cars. He's now looking for an overtake on Radiant Slothz. He spins again.
Radiant Slothz on overheated tyres. Max Verstappen comes back for more. There's contact again. Antonio Giovinazzi sneaks through. Jesus has done it.
Could be on for 2 points here in a race where he really doesn't deserve
Verstappen
it.
again. He's attacking the McLaren.
Still fighting the McLaren.
He just won't give up.
He will not accept finishing behind him.
Touch again.
Justin Freshwater crowds him out.
And he comes around the final corner. That must be it now. Nothing more. Oh, he's coming on the attack again from the final straight. And it was nearly a photo finish. This was Radiant Slothz coming into the hairpin. Spins.
One spin. Gets in the way.
Verstappen thinking, why? As he comes around the final corner, takes the Justin Freshwater line onto the curb, loses the rear end, and disappears out of existence altogether.
Is this enough for Yuki Tsunoda to catch up? Radiant Slothz almost pits.
Yuki Tsunoda nearly rear ends Radiant
in the way.
And this is just the final on board. Radiant Slothz, awful line through the final corner. You can see
over the crest. Don't even know how he spun there.
The rear lifts up as he comes round, and he gets it going incredibly slowly. Why he's not using first gear, who knows? You can hear the Ferrari coming up behind. And
Christian Horner loving it. Another win for the Red Bull team in their somewhat good history. They had 4 good years and then sort of didn't do very well for a bit. Lando Norris picks up another win for the team.
Charles Leclerc on the podium again. Mercedes up there too, but with Guan Yu Zhou this time. Of course, we've eaten our words from the previous video. Lando Norris did get another podium, but of course, it's not that hard to get lucky twice. I think you'll agree, Nick, that he probably won't be up there again. He should.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see Lando Norris win another race in Formula 1. I think that's his first and last.
Yeah.
He celebrates knowing that's his last time up there.
give someone else a chance, says Guan Yu Zhou as he sprays him in the eyes in an attempt to gain an advantage. Lando
you have to say the era of Lando Norris domination has been boring over these last 2 races.
Started and finished in 2 races. And here are the final result. And there we are with the final results. It's Lando Norris, Guan Yu Zhou and Charles Leclerc with the top 3 positions, followed by Sergio Perez, Robert Schwartzman, Lewis Hamilton, Pierre Gasly, Nicholas Latifi, Antonio Giovinazzi, and finally Justin Freshbot after that chaotic final couple of laps. Only Max Verstappen, Radiant Slothz and Yuki Tsunoda missing out on points there after what can only be described as a disastrous Grand Prix for most of the teams out there. Well, how does this affect the Drivers' Championship? Well, it seems as though Lando Norris has remained on the top spot with Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc closely following behind him. Guan Yu Zhou in the other Mercedes, P4, with P5 position being held by Justin Freshbot in the McLaren. Former Red Bull driver Sergio Perez sits P6, tied with Pierre Gasly. Yuki Tsunoda, Robert Schwartzman and Nicholas Latifi make up the rest of the top 10. Further down the order though, it's Radiant Slothz in P15 with 0 points, the disappointment of the season so far. And over in the Constructors' Championship, it's 59 points for the Mercedes, with Red Bull following close behind with Ferrari hot on their tails. McLaren trailing off just slightly thanks to some poor performances from Robert Schwartzman. Hopefully he will improve as this season goes on. We'll catch you in the next one.